Thank you, Mr. Tate, for adopting pudgy Adin and saving him from Haram LA.
Welcome. Saved from Haram LA. Welcome to Dubai.
Alright, welcome back, ladies and ladies with dick. Adin Ross, a man-child with his nipples constantly poking up and his syndrome always drooping down. He holds the pen with his whole entire fist when he writes, went from looking like somebody that could model on a beach to something that just washed up it. He scammed his fans and then laughed about it.
You scam people? Yes, bro. Listen, you scammed people. Oh, yeah. Oh, we all did. Oh, you're gonna do it too.
He falsely striked a video of copyright and then laughed about it.
W the chat, we stole $8,000 from him. W. Yes.
He watched his sister get a fat beef bus parked in her tuna town on OnlyFans. He didn't laugh about that.
I'm not even joking, bro. That shit is just too far, bro.
He's Jewish, and he's been breaking records on becoming the biggest shit stain on the internet since his career launched. He streamed himself being this confident man with a plan ready to make a great change, but what he's done so far was talk about how much porn has damaged the mind and society, and then proceeded to pull it up in full screen stream it to his audience, who is no more than 12, and then ask if it's bad.
What do y'all want to watch, bro? I don't support porn. Like, I don't support the shit. What the fuck y'all want to watch? I don't support the shit.
There's no fucking way.
What?
You're just having this on stream.
Is that bad?
Is that bad? Well, I don't know how the fuck it can be good. Do you know how many kids probably got their asses beat from angry mothers as soon as that shit popped up on the family TV? I'm sure little Timmy got the belt because his mom walked into Adin presenting a fucking Remy. Like, it's completely irresponsible because you are fully aware of what your audience consists of and still choose to give everybody a front row seat to the meat show. And showing this when not even 10 seconds prior you were just speaking about how porn is poison for the mind, yelling your heart out over hot tub streamers being banned and how it's damaging Twitch on a daily basis, which I full-heartedly agree with. But it all goes down to shit falls when you do a full 180 and show two men clapping and slapping up each other's balls for your stream opener. It's been a rumor that Adin puts on this act or facade of being an idiot only to provide shock value or gain attention, but truth be told, I think that's all a hunky hunk of bullshit because he always prides on the message of being himself, and I really believe that's a promise he never fails to deliver because he has made, said, and done the absolute worst decisions that no other human could possibly replicate other than Adin himself, to the point where it's impossible for it to even be a character. I think another one that really shows why Ross should run for president is his thoughts on the unfortunate men out there that have been sexually assaulted, which was absolutely nothing because he believes that it's impossible to even happen, like it's something beyond science for a man to experience.
I have a question. Can guys get raped?
Yes.
Guys can get raped?
Yes.
Can you give me an example?
Tyler Perry, Ozzy Osbourne, Harry Crews, that one bitch off of the Kite Runner. I mean, we had Cardi B bragging about drugging up dudes and violating and stealing all their shit. It works the same exact fucking way that it would for a woman. Somebody doesn't want you touching them without consent and you continue to do it, that is assault. If I'm posted in the club and a bitch walks up and starts shaking my nuts and yells Yahtzee without any warning, then yeah, I'm going to report that to the police and probably swing back on a hoe. Like, how do you think that we are just immune to it? Like, our dicks just shrink back into our bodies out of fear like a scared little turtle hiding in its shell. The fact that this shit was on your mind enough to the point where you bring it up to the CEO of the platform you work for just makes the matters worse. The person he is talking to is Trainwrecks TV, an ex-gambler on Twitch that helped founded Kick and is also a co-owner of it, so I'm sure his heart sank like he pressed Q and Zomboid or some shit whenever he busted out with this on the conference call. So it's evident that Adin knows when to party and when to keep things on a professional level. What better time to ever party than the fucking Super Bowl? At least that's what Adin thought, because a little after the dumbest question ever asked by man, he went to go on and commit the dumbest fucking action I've ever seen a man do by fully live streaming the Super Bowl, no overlays, blurs, goddamn nothing. And Adin even made sure to provide a high quality experience for the viewer by having it almost in 4K. That quality was pristine. I really don't think I need to explain on how streaming the Super Bowl right from Fox Live without a license is a bad idea. Like, this had to be an indirect assassination attempt on Train's life because you almost sent his ass on cardiac arrest saying what you did about men being violated, and then you go out and do something that would cost you and possibly the entire Kick company millions of fucking dollars because of your own dumbass decision. It's honestly a miracle that they never did come after you in the first place. Now, I was going to never make a video on Adin initially because I truly didn't despise the man, mainly because I rarely watched him, but the actions that he did in the past few months have caused me to lose the little to no respect I had for Adin in the first place. I wanted to show these clips to present the obvious that he's a fucking idiot that can cause some serious harm, and now it's time to actually show the harm that he caused, where we enter Pat God into the mix. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Pat God. He's someone that blown up recently for having a similar niche to roasting that I do, and he was helpful helpful enough to burn some of the calories off Adin for him right before the start of his fitness journey in what was supposed to be a friendly little roast battle. And in this particular roast battle, Adin, being the sensitive, shriveled up little chode flopping around the road of a human that he is, decided to craft an ultimate unbeatable comeback for Pat God after getting roasted, which was to immediately call him a child predator live on air in front of tens of thousands of viewers back home with a baby on stream while all of this shit was going down.
Packing Adin Ross and I Show Speed, right? I was packing Adin, I was pressing Adin, and then out of nowhere, Adin Ross just literally stands there and he says, yo, Pat God is a child predator. He likes kids. He likes kids. That's what he said. Adin Ross just called me a predator to his whole stream because he was getting pressed.
Well, how manly of you, Adin, to immediately pull that one out of your Flint crumb-covered hairy ass as your main defense. Slandering an innocent man in front of 100,000 people with life-ruining allegations is something I'm sure all the little Adsters out there aspire to be. To be paying thousands in legal fees for defamation is, I'm sure, the experience all these children need to become some of the finest lawyers our nation would ever see. Adin, you really are what I would call weaponized autism. Allegations against Pat God are proven to be false, so I'm not going to touch too much into detail on what they are, but basically Pat God, who's 20 at the time of the recording, is dating a girl who is 17. Now don't quote me on this, but I believe Pat God met this girl when he was 19 and she was 16. Nothing about the relationship is predatory. If you look up R&J laws, both parents of both parties give full consent to them dating. Little too young on my personal age range, but hey, it's certainly not illegal and is in no way, shape, or form pedophilia under any shine in the fucking sun. So for somebody to emotionally rage that out in front of thousands of people with absolute zero proof, and if he did do any research, which I'm sure he's incapable of, this motherfucker would probably crack his knuckles and pull up abcmouse.com for his evidence. But even if he found any of this so-called evidence, it was all proved to be a bunch of boof bricks anyway. Later on, Pat God got to confront Adin once his stream was conveniently off, and of course to not damage his own reputation, he apologized immediately, giving Pat God no room to talk because he really wanted him to know how sorry he truly was. Which is always the perfect way I would want anybody to apologize to me, is to spew spit in my face like a drill sergeant and not listen to anything that I have to say.
Back on the stream, like, Speed, didn't you tell me he was a pedo? So Zeke overheard it. He started speaking. You got mad, and then I said it. I didn't really look at the proof.
To be honest,
hold on. One thing. Hold on.
Okay.
Like I said, like my boy does the same shit.
Listen,
he was like, he was 19 when he was
Shut your bitch ass! So you might be thinking he's on his way to becoming the next Mr. Rogers with this level of inspiration, and although Adin says he loves all of his supporters and wants to set a good example for the people that watch him, behind the scenes he couldn't give one luck of a fuck about anybody that watches him, because in the DM message he got, he replied back with, I'm not a role model, never was. You have millions of followers, you have to be one whether you want to or not, because that's the career you chose to have. But at least you're finally self-aware about one thing. If you were, I'm sure Lady Liberty would be on fire with the city burning in the background if your fans really did look up to you. Everything you touch turns to mold and filth like an STD infected King Midas or some shit. Absolutely nobody would ever want to actually aspire to be like you, Adin, because you can't even aspire to be yourself without contradicting or being a hypocrite of your preaches on a daily basis. I saved the worst for last by showing how low Adin will go in order to have anything directly benefit his way, and what came out recently is a catalyst into this video even being made, which was the result of him falsely striking or claiming videos that featured him in it for his own monetary gain. Pickpocketing with some of the back of the ass nowhere third-party company that he pays for, which again is literally another illegal action that you cannot do. And one of the YouTubers that was directly affected and shed all of the light to this was Internet Anarchist. He does similar content that you would find on Sunny V2's channel, and he posted out a mini documentary on the situation between Sneeko and Charlie, one I'm sure that hits home for many of you out there because that's something I proudly covered. He included a Discord interview on Adin and Sneeko, and for some reason money signs were filled into Adin's eyes because he decided to abuse the copyright system and falsely claim the revenue that Anarchist made from his video. I don't know when since the motherfucking Fine Brothers a 10-second clip of somebody was considered not fair use, but apparently to Adin this is a crime worth of being banished to hell. So the Internet Anarchist finally broke silence about all this on his Twitter feed on April 22nd, saying, I just lost $8,000 from Adin Ross falsely claiming my video about the Penguin Zero versus Sneeko situation. Fuck you, Adin Ross. And then he luckily details it further exactly what led up to somehow the claim even being validated by continuing with, the claim was received on my video Sneeko's horrible response to Penguin Zero, where I used a stream clip of Adin Ross interviewing Sneeko. It was used under fair use grounds in a tiny part of my long video. The revenue from this video was almost life-changing money for me. It was one of my most successful videos, so it's a huge shame to have the fruits of my labor taken away from me all of a sudden, especially by someone who literally gets paid tens of millions to gamble in front of kids. Luckily, my mouth was the only thing that got my Sneeko video demonetized eventually, because if I found out Adin was the reason behind that, let's say my mouth would be the only thing you guys would hear moving forward, because I don't understand how Adin thought he could do this and expect all the creators to bend over and spank their ass once as a permissive call for you to walk all over them. I know the first thought in everybody's head is for Anarchist to counter or sue Adin, but you're pretty much going to get absolutely drained when it comes for a ban for ban match with this motherfucker. Adin, whether you want to accept it or not, is absurdly rich, so going toe for toe with him at court is almost a guaranteed failure with the amount of money he can use to advantage for lawyers, fees, and other shit. I'm sure you guys get what I'm saying. But luckily, when it seemed like all hope was lost and Adin would win, YouTube would make their first good decision in the last 7 years and realize that Adin was only included in about 10 seconds of the video he was trying to falsely take down, and sided with anarchists immediately after beginning their review. But it wouldn't even matter because Adin's bitch ass realized for once how dumb he was and retracted the claim himself. And when asked by one of their happy customers on Twitter what the penalties are for abusing the copyright system, YouTube would notify everyone that he did by responding back with, misuse of the removal request web form like submitting false information can result in the suspension of an account or other legal consequences. More here. Yeah, that's great. So what the fuck are we waiting for? You have the evidence presented to punish him because this man did it live on stream with a smile on his face and a boner in his pants, and yet you still don't do a singular thing but explain the rulebook again. It's almost like a wrestling ref saying how he wants a good clean fight and then all of a sudden he pulls out a gun and shoots himself. Like that accomplished absolutely fucking nothing. But that's how it's always been. They punish creators who don't break the rules and praise the larger ones that do. And I believe Adin knows he can get away with shit like this without serious repercussions because he's familiar with immediately apologizing for his mistakes before continuing to make them again the very next day. Just like his mother was doing with shots of Hennessy while Adin was swimming around in her stomach. He's always gotten a slap on the wrist for the shit he's done besides being permanently banned on Twitch, but that's only just escalated his insanity. But that situation wouldn't exactly end there because when Adin was brought up his false claim on his stream, his only response was to ejaculate into his pants, clap and laugh at it like a disabled seal doing a circus trick, and continuously make fun of the fact that he stole this guy's hard-earned money for no apparent or good reason.
Put a W in the chat. We stole $8,000 from him. W. He needed that. Yes. 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 W. Yes.
Yeah, not really too much of a deeper meaning or story to tell in this video besides how I think Adin is a dangerous idiot that can cause some serious harm to people's reputations or careers, all because they got under his skin or hurt his feelings one day, which is a very positive and manly thing to do, so hats off to you, Adin. But yeah, he's a self-centered bitch that just wants to twist every scenario and step of life into something that benefits solely himself. All that for years, but I guess now people are finally opening their eyes on why they shouldn't watch or aspire to be like this guy. It's a shame that people do look up to Adin, whether he wants to believe they do or not, in the direction he guides his audience on. I hope he can change for the first time in his life and get some new crayons out the box since his true colors are now showing, and turn his life around for the better and show it instead of bragging about it. But I think that's gonna wrap the video up there. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to slap a like before your dad slaps you. Subscribe to hit my vibe and make sure to follow all my socials, links down in the description. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next week. I'ma head out this bitch.
Cutting, dripping in the bench, shouldn't let my homie in. Yeah, you from Minnesota, cause you looking like my twin. Yeah, can't fuck with these stars, cause they always on some shit. Yeah, be careful with your bros, cause they always gonna switch. Yeah. Cutting, dripping in the bench, shouldn't let my homie in. Yeah, you from Minnesota, cause you looking like my twin. Yeah, can't fuck with these stars, cause they always on some shit. Yeah, be careful with your bros, cause they always gonna switch. Yeah.